Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of Rags to Riches, starring our homeless girl, Katerina Loverly. For those new to the program, Katerina has been getting by with a tent and a few other supplies on the outskirts of Windenburg, but she's missing her hometown of Brindleton Bay lately. So she started setting aside some money to take a trip back there and see what it looks like now. Now, along those lines, we had a build challenge recently for Katerina's childhood home. I toured the fabulous entries for those in last week's episode. If you missed it, you really must go have a look because the entries were amazing. And that said, I have chosen, well, you'll all wait and see what I've chosen. I'm terrible. I will tell you, though, that I went a little unconventional in how I did this, and you could say that there was more than one winner. So I can't really say more than that now because it would spoil some things, but I hope the entrants don't mind my take on this, and I'll talk to you all a little bit about it after the end of the episode, too. So that said, you may have already gotten the idea that this episode is going to be more story / machinima, however you say that word, based than standard LP, and you'd be right. Again, it's just what I feel is called for right now in our journey with Katerina, and we'll go back to more standard LPs later. But for now, let's get back to where Katerina left off. And the last thing that she did was go shopping. Oh, and I should tell you too that I made a couple of changes from last time to this time. I had reduced her money enough for shoes, but I had forgotten to get her shoes. So I got her a pair of new shoes. And I also extended the seasons to the 14 sim day time frame because the 7-day time frame was feeling too short and too unrealistic to me. And so I'm hoping this season length seems a little bit more real. So, okay, I think that covers everything for now. So, Katerina woke up the following morning and essentially got cold feet. She totally backed out of going. She decided she'd fish one more day and make some more money while she got up the nerve to go. Thing is, she had to admit to herself she was nervous about going home, or going to what used to be home. Now, she loved Brindleton Bay and she really wanted to see it, but she also missed it and her family so much, so very much. The house, her family, their dog Max, her best friend's family, all of it, all of them were gone now. She knew it was going to be so hard to go back again after being gone for so long. At the same time, she felt it would be kind of cleansing, cathartic in a way, maybe give her some closure in some way. She didn't really know, she just knew that there was something pulling her there. It was something that she had to do. So if it was something that she had to do, why was she here fishing today? Now, she didn't really know that either, but she did choose a different spot today, and this one reminded her more of her dad. He ran a fishing charter out of Brindleton Bay, and he was the one that taught her how to fish when she was a kid. And this particular area just reminded her more of him and more of the areas that they used to fish. But she was also thinking about the fact that today was Love Day and there was that Mr. Muscles at the gym. And she got this crazy idea in her head while she was standing there fishing to go exploring around, find some more bluebell flowers, and get another workout in before leaving for Brindleton. And while she was there, she thought she would be bold and give Muscles a little Love Day surprise. Now, he was at the gym as usual, and they ended up working out next to each other, which was always some insane combination of frustratingly distracting, but yet very pleasurable all at the same time. She did get up the nerve to strike up a conversation with him and give him the bluebells. She was pretty proud of herself for being so bold, and he did seem grateful, but not really interested beyond that. So she was so frustrated. She just got back on the treadmill and doubled her workout just to let off steam. Funny thing is, though, she didn't really want him. Not truly. Or anyone else, really. At least not for anything more than some fun. There was no way after she got done with Jason that she was going to get involved with anyone again. That was for sure. She was done with relationships. But that's okay, she thought. She wasn't going to worry about it right now. She was just going to focus on her upcoming trip to Brindleton Bay, and that's it. Unfortunately, though, she overslept the next morning, and she was mad at herself, too, because she really wanted to get on the earliest bus. So since she overslept and the day in Windenburg was just gorgeous, she decided to stay and enjoy it and make sure that she didn't oversleep the following day. So she hit the gym as usual, and she could tell now that every day there was making a difference. She was definitely feeling like her weight loss was starting to show and all the effort at the gym was paying off. And so after the gym, she decided to play guitar in one of Windenburg's squares for a little while, and then at one of the cafes. Now, the square didn't yield her much, but she drew money in the cafe like she never had before. It seemed like everyone that walked in the door gave her a tip. She felt that her new outfit was making a world of difference. She didn't look like a vagrant anymore. The 2 extra days in Windenburg yielded her a good amount of money. So much so that she felt very comfortable spending the money for bus fare to and from Brindleton Bay and back. When Katerina arrived in Brindleton Bay, the bus dropped her off right in front of Doggy Delight. This was one of Katerina's favorite stores when she was a kid because the whole family could go here, including Max, the family dog. And now, of course, the store was so small that it was a tight squeeze for the whole family, but they spent most of their time out back working Max on the agility course. So Katerina always felt this place was like a playground for people with dogs. So she took a peek out back, and sure enough, the course was still there. And she thought, oh, that was so nice to see. Then the memories came in, clouded her vision, her eyes welled with tears. Dog training was such a big thing for her and her family when she was growing up, because it was a big thing for her best friend Danny's family. Danny's dad was an army guy, and early in his career, he worked with and trained dogs on IED squads. Well, he had such a love of dogs and dog training that he kept taking in strays, and he'd take them out to the local agility courses and he'd train them, he'd enter them in competitions and all that jazz. But after stray number 3, Rebecca, that was Danny's mom, she said no more. And that's how Katerina's family ended up with Max. Then they started getting into training. And when they first got Max, Dad enrolled him at the training course at Doggy Delight, and she and Mom would sit on the sidelines while Dad worked with Max on the course. And eventually, all of them learned how to train and do agility courses with Max. And he loved it too, right up until the year before he died. And he died of old age a while before Katerina's parents were killed in the accident. He was such a loyal boy. She missed him a lot too. And she thought that maybe she should get a dog one day once she's established again. But for now, she thought she should stop and head on over to her old house. She did have to make one little pit stop at a clothing shop before she left, though, because Brindleton Bay was under some kind of massive heat wave, and she desperately needed some cooler clothing. She thanked her lucky stars that she spent a couple of extra days in Windenburg to make some more money so that the clothing purchase was not a problem. And she was also happier about this clothing purchase than she had been for a clothing purchase in so long. She finally felt like she was starting to look good. She walked along the waterfront, enjoying the views of the bay that she missed so much, until she had to veer off under the bridge past Danny's old house. And that still looked the same exact way as it did years ago, though it wasn't Danny's dad's pickup in the driveway there anymore. But once she got to her own house, she couldn't believe it. It was just so overgrown, God, what happened to it, she wondered. She thought for sure that someone would have moved in by now, but it was so obvious that no one lived here now, or maybe ever since she left. She could see the place in her mind's eye like it was yesterday, what it used to look like when she was growing up. It was a good-looking house, a happy house. But now that happy house was not in front of her. So what to do? She hadn't really thought of that. She thought she would see it and it would be filled with another family and they would have put their own touch on it and made it theirs. And that would have given her some closure or forced her to move on or something. But this, what was she going to do with this? She just stood there looking at it for a while. And finally, she decided she had to at least look around. She was going to at least look around the outside. She couldn't leave without checking it out. And then the thought couldn't help but cross her mind. Could she get in? She never did clean out the attic or the basement when she moved. She knew that there was a lot of stuff in both of those places, but she didn't really know what she left behind, but she wondered if any of it was still there. So I hope you all picked up on those lines at the end about the attic and the basement. For those of you who watched last week's house tours, you may remember that I loved GVDN12's attic and Oni's basement. And I also loved Diana's house a ton. That said, I had a really hard time deciding between Diana's house and Mena's house. Loved both of them so much. But Diana's house, there's something about it that's very similar to a house that I lived in when I was a kid that, I don't know, it just drew me to her house. And so because of that, and the fact that I thought I could incorporate GVDN's attic and Oni's basement, meant that that was the winner. So congrats to all three, but especially to Diana. And I tell you what, holy crap, did it take me forever to de-ickify that joint. Like my awesome technical term there. But seriously, I gained an even greater appreciation for Diana's build when I realized just how much detail she incorporated, as I had to eliminate most of it. And oh, by the way, Diana is Ancha-Synonymous. It's Egyptian, and I can walk like an Egyptian, but not talk like an Egyptian. I'll put it down below. But anyway, that Diana is who I'm talking about. And anyway, I had quite the time incorporating the attic and finding a dang place for the basement stairs, plus taking the place back in time 10, 15 years. So yeah, that was quite the fun project. And speaking of projects, I know some of you will notice and maybe not be too thrilled that this LP video was pretty short. And I was hoping for it to be quite a bit longer, but I hope you guys can tell I put a lot of love into this one, and there was a ton of setup I had to do. Everything from building the pet shop to building Katerina's best friend's entire family, including older brother and all three dogs, plus their whole house. And then after all that was done, it was taking a ton of flashback footage. And so basically I just ran out of time to get as much incorporated in this episode as I wanted to. But I'm hoping you guys think that I left it off at a good place and come back and see me for the next one. And that said, if you like this, don't forget to hit that little button down below that says so, and subscribe, share, comment, and all that jazz that super helps us YouTubers out a ton. And thank you so much for spending the time with me today, and I hope to see y'all again next time. Bye now.